personal practice. So I start with a quick forward fold to find some space in the spine. Feel a few pops maybe. Doesn't feel like there's any pops today, but again, feel some space, get out any kinks if there are any. And let the spine dangle from the pelvis. And then look up to set up the next move. So you start arching the spine. Start the timer for the next move. Upward facing dog. Place your fingertips towards the toes. And then relax. Feel the pose, feel the sensations in the body. Feel what's going on. The big factor right now is the low back. Vertebrae aren't quite in place yet. Just gotta wait. Wait for those vertebrae to slowly slide into place. Then after that happens, you can extend the pose. You can use the head as a counterbalance when you're ready to start arching the spine backwards. Posterior flexion of the spine. There we go. Now the low back's getting in place. Still a little crick in the bottom right part of the neck. Just a limiting factor for putting the head back. And relax. Another minute for 42 seconds. So maybe pulse the muscles at the top of the pelvis, in the back at the top of the pelvis, with the low back muscles. Start pulsing more of the back muscles to reach back. Give yourself a twist. To see what that feels like on the spine and the neck. Use the back muscles to pull everything a little bit further back. Relax, feel the sensation. And most sensation is in the lower spine. And then a lot of sensation also in the wrists and the hands. Taking the weight of the front of the body. Slowly keep moving the spine just a little bit. So the body can get used to subtle movements inside deep stretches. That's it for that. Next up is a scorpion pose, which we've just set up by opening the back. Allow the wrists to normalize for just a moment. And today's the 13th. So we'll start with the left leg first. Find some balance. And then find the pose for another 2.5 minutes. And just relax as best as you can. This is why we opened up the low back with upward facing dog, so that we could get into this pose just a little bit easier and not have to worry about being limited by the low back. with an easier posterior flexion of the spine, followed up by a little bit more, a pose that requires a little bit more effort to do the posterior flexion of the spine. So, lots of shoulder, lots of focus on the balance, and then relax. Smile a little bit, gaze toward the thumbs, gaze above the thumbs, eventually start to look up as best as you can. Really trying to flex the spine. And over months and years, the feet will get closer to the head. You might press the knees together just to see what that feels like. Allow the knees to go apart. Very different sensation. And I'm starting to hit my limit. 55 seconds left. So lots of sensation. Starting to feel the biceps. And the low back. A lot of effort. Just maintain balance. Relax. It'll all be over soon enough. This is the new normal. Maybe. And just relax. Another 16 seconds. Came out just a hair too soon. Oh well. Made it quite far. Allow the low back and the rest of the body to equalize for just a moment. There's the timer. Quite the intense pose. Next up, we're going to start doing some forward bending type stuff. So the best way to set that up is with a forward fold. And just relax. Make sure you're in frame. And reach this forward. So open the spine again. You can rest your hands on the quads just above the knees. The bottom of the quad just above the knee. If you'd like some more support. Eventually straighten the knees. Let the hands come down for a little bit. Scorpion pose is really intense. It's a lot of effort. Quite a few calories as compared to holding this pose. So it's your chance to relax. Just focus on the breath and find the sensation in the body. So still feeling the low back where it was flexed. The back side of the low back where it was flexed before from the scorpion pose. So still releasing that. Relax the muscles. You find this forward fold a little bit too easy. Fine, put the hands under the feet. Still kind of easy, but it does give you a little bit of a calf stretch. Try to breathe through the nose. Relax. Feel where you are in the pose today. Okay. Start to use those biceps to pull you down if you want a little bit, or you can just relax. So I feel the tension from both the calves and the hamstrings. Doesn't feel like a max stretch, but it does feel like it's like a spring. It's pulling the knees bent just a little bit. So I have to put some quad effort to keep the legs straight. Some efforts from the quad and lean back a little bit. Just relax. Feel the breath as it slides in and out. Continue to breathe. Feel the breath. Feel the different parts of the body. And that's 3 minutes of that. Next pose. So I've been doing a lot of Janu Sirsasana. I think I want to focus on the front splits a little bit. So get that right leg back. Get the timer working started. And there we go. Feel that stretch. Not quite a zero effort pose because I have to use the upper body to keep myself into the pose. My pelvis is, what, an inch or so off the floor. Well, this really targets the hamstring, at least for me. I can really feel the left hamstring close to the hip, close to the glute. So that's one of the reasons why I really like the stretch. And then it's interesting on the back leg because I feel some sensation on the outer side of the hip, like where the femur, the ball and socket on the femur, the top part of the ball and socket. So on the pelvis, the outside of the pelvis, right up there. So like right here, but on the other side. So that's an interesting sensation because that's some kind of opening going on until I can get the pelvis down on the earth, and then I can start to straighten out the hips a little bit, square off the hips a little more. So right now, of course, the hips aren't square. They're at, looks like, what, 45 degrees, more or less? Or I'm making a 135 degree angle, obtuse angle with my left leg and pelvis at the moment. And then slowly we're going to start to square off the hips and eventually get the pelvis down. Square off the hips a little bit, so not at the 135 degrees anymore. But it still works, still a nice intense stretch. Yeah, so when I really try to square off the hips, then the pelvis comes up too high and it's too much effort on everything. I feel a lot more stretch on the front top of the right hip. So kind of where the quad meets the top of the pelvis, that's where I'm feeling, I call it a stretch, but it doesn't feel like a muscle is being stretched. But I guess, I don't know. Yeah, it's some kind of a hip opening. And there's some kind of muscle or tendon there that's getting stretched. But that is that. So slowly work the way out. Clear up the timer. And the other side. So we got here last time. So we kind of did something like that. And we start the timer. Lots of good sensation on the bottom of the hamstring close to the hip. pelvis, yeah, closer on this side, so maybe half an inch, quarter of an inch from the earth. The left hip, right, the left side, feels a little bit more open as compared to the other side. But of course, that just may be because we're doing this side second instead of first. So the pelvis is about at the 135 degree mark. A nice, powerful stretch on the right hamstring. Just feel the stretch, feel the sensation in the hamstring. As you notice the sensation, as you feel that sensation, as the nerves send that sensation to the mind, somehow that makes it relax and lessens the sensation so you can go a little bit deeper. There's some sort of mind-body connection that when you focus on the pose, you get into an indefinite space where you can hold the pose indefinitely, and you're at kind of your limit indefinitely. As you feel that, the sensation starts to lessen and allows you to go further into the pose. Square off the hips a little bit more. Square the hips off all the way. Yeah, and again, feeling a little bit of limit on the top left side of the left hip. And again, I'm not sure what the limit doesn't feel like a muscle stretch is the limit. It must be more of like a tendon or something. Interesting sensations. Yeah, it's not a place where this joint normally goes. And of course that right heel, getting lots of sensation as well. Alright, that's the timer. That's a nice easy way to get out. Nice and gentle with everything involved. And next up, wide splits. Slowly take that all back. Get the timer started. If you're following along, you'll practice your wide splits. Maybe this is your wide splits. Maybe you can't get the feet all the way apart. And just hang out. If you can't fold forward, however wide your feet get, you might want to put your back to a wall. Just someplace where you can hold the pose indefinitely. All day long, if you wanted to. And you can find that nice sensation. Get the body down. Get all the parts in the right place so that you can hold the pose indefinitely and relax. Your mileage may vary. The more you practice, the easier it will become. Yeah, and for me, this point is just more just maintaining the position, right? I'm not getting, like in the front splits I was doing a few moments ago, I wasn't able to get the pelvis all the way down, so I've still got room to grow on there. On this, I'm not sure how much, I've got the pelvis all the way down, I got the legs straight, so not so much room to growth, but if I didn't do this every day, right? If I didn't do this at least once a week, and about the minimum is about once a week, then the muscles would start to tighten up, right? So, in order to maintain flexibility, I do this pose every day. And I've gone through different periods, and I know that about once a week is really kind of the minimum for the muscles to keep the openness. If you exercise a lot, if you do those weight machines where you close your legs, that will tighten the muscles more, and so you will need to do this more often if you want to keep your legs open. But again, feel the sensation, should be nice and relaxing. So yeah, for me, for this point, this is more just a relaxation pose. But I do it to maintain flexibility. I'm still working on the hamstrings for the front splits because I haven't gotten that to the full expression yet. This seems to be pretty much the full expression of where I'm going to be able to go. The little thing else you can do is start pulse the muscles a little bit. Try to feel what it's like to move inside of the intense expression of the pose. 5 seconds. And that's that. Alright, next up, play with some handstands. So, reset the timer. Get the hands underneath the shoulders. So you want the fingers pointed out. And we're going to lift up into a starter pose. And then ideally into a handstand. So, press up. And let's see if we can hit a handstand today. A little bit. There we go. And I've got my feet spread wide, so that lowers my center of balance. The lower the center of balance, a little bit easier it is. So you can bring the knees into the chest. If you do dynamic, you keep moving your legs around. Yeah, that creates a lot of balance challenge. Oh. And that's that. Alright. So, that was fun. Good stuff. Those of you that decided to join me, thank you so much for watching. This is my personal practice with some commentary. That's what I do every day at about 8 a.m. Feel free to join back if you'd like. And it's been fun seeing you. Have a great rest of your day.